Hello. To begin the gene key study, you're going to want to pull up your InnerCartography workbook, and you're going to navigate to this page. You're going to take your gene key chart, and you're going to apply the numbers to this system that appear in your chart. Put it right into your workbook. The order of the way this chart flows is you start at this entry point up here, up at the life path, and then you follow this line to your evolution. You follow it over here to your radiance, and then you follow it down here to your purpose. And these first four are your first four that you study. In order to really deeply understand the enormity of all of that, you will also need to continue to move through here and then come back and review all of this. This may be hard to go deep with unless you understand what motivates you that occurs here with the heart side of things and relationship and love. But you first need to understand a glimpse of your own genius. This outer sphere is called the activation sequence in gene keys. Everyone has one, everyone has four of them. And each of those four are also a reflection of what your incarnation cross in human design is. So it can help you to understand the mechanical aspect of what it is that you feel propelled by in life. So finish this dynamic in your workbook. Move to the second page of the workbook, and it is the same dynamic except that it's laid out in a chart format. And you're going to be working with these first four right up here across the top. How you fill in all of this information is found in the back of the workbook, where you see these kinds of pages. And you simply follow along through the numbers here, looking for that key or that gate that you're looking to find the information from. And you follow the information across the top here, and you choose from the columns the information that is being asked for up here. So here you have, for example, here's your life path. You're looking for the shadow of it, the dilemma of it, the victim state of it, the repressive spectrum to the reactive spectrum, and then its gift and its essence. So there's a whole lot of information in just that one line that all pertains to your life path and whatever that number is. There's 64 different gates and keys. Of that 64, each person will have one. And then there is going to be the layers that they have that flow beneath it. So each person's unique entry point is their life path. And when you start to pull them into this piece of paper, you start to see how they work together. And I'm going to go over what those different spheres mean in a moment. As you start reading and contemplating them, you have a sheet in the back of the workbook that looks something like this. This is giving you a staircase of the shadow, the gift, and then the essence that supports this whole process. And so this is a worksheet in all of its own, because you can come through and you can put in the victim state, its repressive and reactive symptoms, and make it poignant to you. Try to see yourself in these readings and write down what it is that you express based on these shadow aspects. And then same with the gift. The gift, what is the chosen state of that gift that you're rising through from the shadow? What is the service to self? And what is the service to others from that place of the gift? Down here with the essence, this is that soul essence, its state of being. Notice up here it was a chosen state. Down here it was a victim state. So we move from victim state to chosen state, and this is simply a state of being. So it is that underlying core energy that is found woven, though often hidden, through all of it. So the state of being, the expression of it, and the intention of it. How a thing expresses itself and what its intention is behind that expression is very layered and nuanced, and it is helpful to discover both of them. And so you put your key number up at the top of the key study that you're working on, and you fill this in with extra room for notes on the bottom, as well as a blank page on the back for you to continue that study. And so that is a one-page overview that you will have written based on your life experiences from your discoveries of reading or listening to the gene key downloads. Before you even start that entire process, I want you to read the first four sections or the first four chapters that is found in the Gene Keys book by Richard Rudd. That is going to help to set the stage for how you're going to listen, how you're going to enter into this spectrum-based study. This system is very different from human design in that it's not looking at the black and white. It's looking at the shades of gray and the nuances between all of the colors and the ways of being, so that a person can feel into who they really are beneath all of that not self-programming that gets embedded in us because of what we pick up energetically in the world. So this is a way of listening for your own spirit intuition through the words that are being spoken or through that are being read, and then also made more manifest by you applying that information to your specific workbook, giving you something to come back to when conversations are rough, when there's something major going on in your world, when you're feeling lost. You get to come back and look at, where are your strengths? Where are your consistencies? Where is your life continuously showing up, trying to show you the same lesson, but in a different way? Okay, so let's go over briefly what each of those 4 spheres mean. The life's work sphere. This sphere and its gene key, it represents the ideal arena of your external work in the world, what it is that you are here to bring. This is the role that most suits your creative expression and allows you the full freedom to be yourself without compromise. The shadow of this particular gene key will describe what tends to occur around you when you lose touch with your true self. This is the shadow aspect. At the other end of the spectrum, the essence, the seti, or the highest potential of that gen key, describes you living in the absolute zenith of your genetic potential. In the Pearl sequence, that sphere is also known as your brand. So for those who work with marketing, your brand is a depiction of how you show up in the world. And so whatever your life path is, on the other end of things also ends up being your brand. So if you are the type of person who's trying to understand how you show up in the world, that's also another way of being able to see how part of your energy shows up. As a brand, it helps to best express your other highest gifts in order that you can achieve true recognition in life. So it is very important to delve into the shadow aspects behind what it is that is in your life path or your brand. For example, my life path is number 4. It's intolerance, forgiveness, and understanding. And so I get to discover where I am intolerant of other people, of myself, of ways of being, and I get to move through those intolerances, recognize them, give a nod to them, don't get wrapped up in their malarkey and their stories, and I progress through to trying to understand what is going on. And that's one of the big reasons how I've come to understand it, that I was led to human design and gene keys. Through all the different hundreds of different systems that I studied, this one resonated with me the most as a foundational one, because it both looks at mechanics. This is just the way it is. When you plug A into B, then, there's a process that happens. And so there's a mechanical understanding. I needed the black and whiteness. On the other end of things, life is full of spectrums and nuances, and I needed to be able to understand them in order to appreciate the mechanics that I would see in myself and the world around me. And so human design and gene keys became a beautiful way of being able to explore both, while each of them having a way of zippering in together, because they really do have one flow through to another, because they're similarly based in the same way of being. That's why you see this outer sequence as being a reflection of what your incarnation cross is. Okay, so evolution, the second sphere over. It is in direct opposition. It is the programming partner to the life's work sphere. A quick note on programming partners. Programming partners are kind of like a handshake, or rather, like a handshake, okay? One is in existence because the other is also present, and together they create a solid connection, all right? What can also happen in that process is that the shadow aspects lock on, meaning you have this because this hasn't let go. And so in this looking at the evolution sphere, you get to look at how the shadow of your evolution holds hands with your life's work sphere, or your life's path sphere, and see how it can hold those energies in place. For example, my life's work sphere is intolerance and my evolution is reaction. And so if I am constantly having reactions at other people that is based on my intolerances of their way of being, then I have a perpetual motion that's going to stay in the same way. And I'm going to be a bitter ass bitch. And that doesn't bring me the abundance that I know my life can. And so I have to look at the two of them and go, which way can I unweave it? Sometimes I understand I have to, okay, I'm being intolerant right now. Sometimes I have to come over here and I have to be like, wow, I'm having lots of reactions. And I do not want to be a reactionary person. I want to be one that brings about a revolutionary way of looking at things. Rather than being consistently reactive, my goodness, how boring, right? I mean, or how dramatic and how much I don't want to be like that. Then I can unravel that and go, okay, wow, there's lots of reactions going on. Whew, how can I revolutionize this shit? And when I can revolutionize it, which is the gift of that evolution, then I can work through and unravel that life sphere's shadow of intolerance. So explore in your own gene keys, what is your evolution and what is your life's work sphere? Because those two are handshaking with each other, and they're making deals and arrangements that if you're not aware of, they could be running your life, running an unconscious script in the background of your life and making it awfully difficult to identify who you really are amidst all the muck. Your evolution represents your single greatest challenge in your life. So if you're trying to figure out where's the hardest thing to start with, because I know that I'm going to unravel a lot of other things, start with this one. The purpose of this gene key is to inspire you to grow, to mature, and to eventually flourish. It can feel a little abrasive, and that's okay. It can feel like the hardest thing you'll ever do. That's okay too. At least if we know what the hardest thing to do is, we're not always trying to look for it. So start here and see what unravels for you. The challenge of your evolution will manifest both internally and externally through your shadow's frequency. As you learn to embrace that aspect of yourself, your life will gradually be transformed. The highest purpose of your evolution is to allow you to transcend your own struggling, your own suffering, and ultimately find lasting peace, deep, lasting peace. So look at your shadow frequency of your evolution and see where it is woven through your life. See where it keeps coming up. And now this is a thing you have to experience life in order to find. There's only a certain amount of reading and listening to the gene keys and thinking about the past that is going to help you understand. You need to walk through each day-to-day action, and when there are things that come up, go look at it through this lens and see if you can see how your life is unfolding in a pattern, and see if you can identify that pattern and begin to do things to shift it in the way that is going to work the best for you. This is how we don't let our shadows rule us from the dark. We shine a light on them. We look for them. We play with them, we practice with them, and we find the things that are going to help to dissolve their potency and their power of holding a grip on our life. Okay, the radiance sphere. This sphere has a direct influence on your physical, emotional, and mental health. Radiance is all about how you are health-wise in the world, because if we're not healthy, we cannot live up to our fullest potential. Just this gene key will either undermine your health and your well-being through its shadow frequency, or bring you great love and vitality through its gift. The radiance also has an indirect relationship to your evolution. The more you listen to it and you learn from the lessons in your life, in your radiant sphere, the more radiant you will become. At its very highest level, the radiance represents the final flowering of your highest mystical potential. It is your flowering. It is the radiance of the flower that blooms in the summer and you're just like, ah. This is your shining moment. And so look for where that could show up in your life. Also look for the places in which you might be blocking it. either by making excuses for reasons of keeping your shadow in play, or why you cannot evolve beyond that shadow. And really try practicing with the gifts that come from it to see if that can increase your health and your vitality. And the last sphere in this activation sequence is your purpose. This is another hidden gift that's lying deep within your DNA. When you can trust in your highest dreams and have the courage to manifest them through your life's work, the first sphere, then your purpose begins to nourish you from deep within your being. Your purpose is already laid out for you, and all you have to do is unlock it. And this can only occur as you embrace your inner nobility and express it through selfless service and unconditional love. And so your purpose has more to do with what wants to flow out of you and less about who you need to become inside, although there are keynotes in there around the shadow aspect of things you need to be careful of being like, lest you block your ability to have access to your own purpose and your own flow. All right, I look forward to seeing how this homework and working with this workbook goes for you. Keep me up to date. Talk to you soon. My name is Rainey Ford. I'm an herbalist and InnerCartographer, founder of Nematon and Mountain Woman Medicine. If you are interested in purchasing herbal medicines or discovering your inner mapping, please visit my website in the description below. Have a wonderful day, beautifuls.